Did you play this iconic track and field game from the 80s? In only 30 minutes, and by only using ChatGPT, I'm going to recreate this iconic game. The rules for this challenge is simple. I only got 30 minutes, ChatGPT is the boss, no coding is allowed whatsoever. I may create some backgrounds or sprites to enhance the graphics, and by the end of the challenge, I'll rate the game on a scale from 1 to 10. Track and Field for Nintendo is a sports video game which was developed and published by Konami based on an arcade classic from the early 80s. The game features Olympic-style events like sprinting, long jump, and javelin throw. It was known for intense button-mashing gameplay, where the players were competing to provide the best results in each event. I'm gonna attempt to recreate the javelin part of the track and field game, and for my game the graphics are gonna be essential because it includes a running animation. So the first thing I did was to make a background. I used ChatGPT and I got this background, which will... The idea is that it will pan from the right to the left to create a scrolling animation. And I also tried to create 3 different running sprites, which could form some kind of animation, but I was unsuccessful using ChatGPT. So what I did is that I took 3 different screenshots and I removed the background and changed them slightly. So I ended up with these 3 images, which ideally will continue rolling to create some sort of animation. I also have an image of the actual javelin, and I have the throwing image. So let's see how we can put all those things together. Alright, so I made the essential graphics. I don't think I will need any more graphics. And I also written down the very first prompt. We will be using ChatGPT 03 Mini High for this challenge. Well, let's start the timer. So what I've been telling ChatGPT in my very first prompt is that I want to recreate the javelin event from the game Track and Field for Nintendo. And I'm telling him that I got 5 image files. I got the background.jpg, which would be the background for the entire game. And the idea is that the runner should run across the screen and enter a throwing phase, and then the javelin will fly across the screen, and the camera will also pan from left to right, creating an effect that the javelin has been thrown very far, but actually the javelin is standing in the middle of the screen, flying in the middle of the screen actually. I also telling that I have a runner 1, runner 2, runner 3 image that should create some sort of animation. And for the game mechanics, I'm saying that the running phase is started by a mouse click and the throw is started with a press of the space bar. The code should be written in Python and the screen size should be 1600 by 900. So let's see how we can cope with all this information. Alright, so ChatGPT has reasoned for 1 minute and 41 seconds, which actually is quite a lot of time for this initial process. But it says it's using Pygame. If you haven't installed Pygame, it's quite easy to install. You just type pip install Pygame in your console. I'm using Visual Studio Code for this project. It demonstrates a basic recreation of the javelin event. The athlete's running phase is triggered by a mouse click, and a spacebar click changes the state to throwing. Okay, I guess we just copy and paste it in and save. And the code is quite small, 104 lines. Let's run this file and we'll find out. This is nerve-wracking. Okay, so we can see that the we have to do something with the zooming of the main image. The the runner is looking decent. I have done some errors when I was removing the background. You can see there are some dots above the runner. Okay, let's press the mouse and let's see what happens. Okay, so there is an animation throwing. Oh, there is the javelin. Okay, well, that's a start. That's a start. Okay, let's make some updates. Okay, so I asked for some upgrades. Number one, zoom in on the background picture so it fills the screen vertically as well. This should probably make the background image pan across the entire game screen. The animation now makes some sort of trail behind the runner because all images are being shown the entire time. I want you to clean that up. And I want the runner to throw the javelin at an angle upwards, and I also want to incorporate some sort of physics that will make the javelin follow a realistic trajectory and then stop or collide when it hits the ground. So let's see how we can do that. As always, I'm finding it so fascinating to follow the reasoning of this ChatGPT 03 mini heights. It really lets you follow the thought process the entire way, and it is really interesting. Based on the amount of time used for reasoning, it seems like this game is actually quite a challenge for the ChatGPT. It has now reasoned for 1 minute and 56 seconds before it gave me the new code. The upgrades is a zoom background. It is now scaled, so its height always matches the screen's height, which sounds very good. And it has cleaned up the runner animation. The screen is completely cleared each frame by drawing the background again. And also it has implemented some javelin physics. When the spacebar is pressed during the running phase, the throw phase begins. The javelin is given an initial velocity at an upward angle at 45 degrees with an initial speed of 800 pixels per second. Okay, so we have some projectile physics. I guess we'll check to see how this second version of the game is. The code is still pretty small, 125 lines of code. So let's run it. Okay, we can here see that the image is indeed zoomed. I'll start the running phase and I'll start the throwing phase. Oh! Yeah, that was actually pretty good. And the panning does not stop until it hits the end. Oh, it still continues. Okay. Well, that was good. Let's get some new upgrades for this game. Okay, for this third upgrade, I'm focusing on the trajectory of the javelin itself. The first thing is that I want the panning to stop where the javelin collides with the ground. There's no need for the camera to still pan right after the javelin has hit the ground. And also I want the javelin image to rotate at a natural angle, because at the moment the javelin has the same angle through the entire trajectory. I want the image to be rotated clockwise. So at the top height of the trajectory, the javelin should be flat in the air, which actually would mean that my image must be rotated 45 degrees clockwise, and at the end it has to be 90 degrees clockwise, so that the javelin would point downwards. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so once again we've had almost 2 minutes of reasoning, and I presume that to actually make the panning stop when the javelin collides with the ground is pretty simple. But the issue here is with the rotation of the image based on the height of the trajectory of the javelin. And I'll copy the code so we have it. We can see that the background panning in the throwing phase, we update the background offset only when javelin active is true. Once the javelin reaches the ground and we have a collision, Javelin active is set to false and the offset stops. So that should be pretty simple. But for the javelin rotation, they have added throw time, Tmax, which is time to reach maximum height, flight time, and also some rotational stuff to fix this. So I can't wait to see if they actually make this look good. 164 lines of code. Let's try. So we'll start the game again by pressing the mouse, it's running, and starting. Well, yeah. Well, that's not bad at all. Yeah, I haven't added a restart button. We can see the camera stopped as well. So that would be good. I'll try once more just to make sure I get the hang of it. Yeah, that's decent. Okay, time to make some more upgrades. So I'm almost happy with the animation. I just need the javelin to have a slightly steeper angle in the initial phase. So what I'm asking is for the game to start rotation for the javelin at 0 degrees, which is the initial image, which in fact is 45 degrees. Because at the moment it is coming up flat. I need it to come out at an angle. So let's just try that before we can start with the game mechanics. Okay, so this was quite a short reasoning, which is not surprising. I'm just hoping that this has not destroyed the smooth animation that was going on from the top of the throw until the final part. So let's see. I want the javelin to go out at a steeper angle, as I said. So let's throw. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, it's now time to implement some game logic into this. Okay, so on purpose, I'm giving ChatGPT quite a challenge here. First, I'll start out easy by asking for a new throw button, which I can click and then throw again or restart the game. I also now want to add some sort of throwing area with a visible line so that the javelin has to be thrown from within that area or else the athlete is disqualified. I also write measure the throw, show the distance. I'm not giving away much information here, so I'm just curious to see if it's so good at logic that that it understands what I actually want to accomplish with this prompt. Okay, so now we're actually at the point where this is going from a well-functioning animation to some sort of a game. So a new throw button is drawn in the top right corner, and clicking it resets the simulation for a new attempt. A visible throwing area is defined by 2 vertical red lines that mark the allowed release zone. When you press space to throw, the release point is checked against this area. If it falls outside the zone, the throw is marked as disqualified. Once the javelin collides with the ground, the code measures the throw distance from the left boundary of the valid area and displays it on screen. If the throw is out of bounds, disqualified is shown instead. Okay, we'll see how this works out actually. But it reasoned for more than 2 minutes. So the code is almost doubled. This could go either way, I think. Okay, so first I see that these 2 lines should be much more to the right, but that's okay. We'll try, so I'll have to press there. And it hits the ground. And the distance is 1498 pixels, which we of course have to change to meters. New throw. I'll try to throw from outside the so I can run forever probably. Yeah, and it should be disqualified. Okay, new throw, and I'll try to throw from pretty far right. 1565. Now I threw from before. Yeah, I'm disqualified even before. Okay, so let's add some new upgrades to this because this is a good start. Okay, so for the next updates, I tell ChatGPT that we actually only need one marker because everything before that marker should be valid. I also want to move the marker further right, preferably almost as far right as the initial screen goes. I also always want the measurement to start from the right marker because in our last version it started from the left marker. And I also want to change the measurement from pixels to meters, and I want ChatGPT to find a reasonable value. For reference, the world record in javelin is like 98 meters or so, so it should not be above 100 meters. Once again, we have an updated code for our game. We should now only have one marker, and it is moved far to the right, almost at the end of my screen. The game is 1600 pixels wide, and the marker should be now at 1500. And the throw distance is measured from that marker. And the measured distance is converted to meters using a conversion factor. 10 pixels is 1 meter. This is probably gonna make some really long throws, but okay. We'll try. Just have to remove the old version. Code seems to be about the same length. I'll just double check that I've got it all. Yeah. Okay, let's try. Yeah, we can see the marker is at the right hand side. It's not looking very good, but that's okay. So I'll run and I'll throw, which is a good throw. 133.6 meters. Okay, so that is actually decent. 131.2 meters. So that's working good actually. I'll try to throw quick throw. Yeah, 36.3 meters. Okay, good. We're almost running out of time, so I have to gamify this a little bit more. So to improve the competitiveness of this game, I first and foremost want to show the measurement in the middle of the screen. I also want to store the longest throw as a current record, and I want to add a velocity factor. The athlete's velocity will be increased by the number of mouse clicks. A higher velocity for the runner also means a higher velocity for the javelin. So let's see if this will make a difference in the actual game. I have so many things I want to add to this game because I believe it has really high potential, but our time is close to up, so this will actually be our final installment of this game. So the upgrades for this version is that the measurement is now displayed in the middle of the screen. The code should keep track of the longest throw as a record, and the most important part is that each time the runner is already running and the user clicks, a velocity factor increases both the run speed and the javelin's initial speed when thrown. I feel like this is kind of a make it or break it moment for this game. With more time, it would definitely be really good, but we don't have more time in this challenge, so here it is, the final version of the javelin game. Okay, record 0.0 meters. Okay, oh, it's increasing the speed. Wonderful. And I almost threw outside of the screen, and we have to fix that. 204 meters. New throw. Okay, so I'll try not to increase the speed and then throw, which indeed results in a shorter throw, 138.3 meters. Of course, we would have to enhance the text graphics here because it's kind of hard to see the distance. Okay, but I'll try one final throw and I'll try to increase the speed a lot for this one, and hopefully we'll set a new record. It's gotta be a new record, and the javelin flew off the screen. I think it's like 248 meters, yeah. Well, so there you have it, the javelin game. We were really successful with the animations, and I said initially that the animation was key to make this game work. The running animation is smooth, the javelin animation is smooth. Of course, there's a lot of graphics and small details that could be much better, but we didn't have the time. It is indeed working with the velocity factor. It is a competitive game. It has a lot more potential. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'll definitely rate this game as a 9. Please subscribe to my channel. I can promise you a lot more videos like this in the coming weeks. See you soon!